So in this lecture, we will see the irrigation water quality classification as per USSL and AICRP criteria. So irrigation water are of different types according to the different contaminants present in it. So it is classified by USSL and AICRP. We will see both the classifications. And another topic we will discuss today is water quality guidelines for irrigation, the normal guidelines for water quality for irrigation water. So these are the things that we will discuss today. First, we will see the irrigation water quality classification as per the United States Salinity Laboratory (USSL). So they have classified the irrigation water into many categories based on four parameters. One is total content of soluble salts that may cause salinity hazard, and the second thing is sodium adsorption ratio or SAR, which is represented by the ratio of sodium, calcium, and magnesium ions. It can cause sodium hazard. So it is the second parameter. And the third one is residual sodium carbonates, which represents the ratio or the content of bicarbonates and carbonates in water. And another parameter is the excessive concentrations of elements which can cause toxicity. So these, based on these four parameters, they have classified the irrigation water. The USSL have classified the irrigation water. So we'll see each of the parameters. First one is the salinity hazard or excess salt concentration. This is the first parameter. So according to that, we can categorize the water. Normal general categorization will be like this. The hazard will be based on according to the salinity. The hazard can be categorized into four types: none, some hazard, moderate hazard, and severe hazard. The salinity can be represented by two parameters. One is dissolved salt content, which is expressed in ppm, and electrical conductivity, which is expressed in microsiemens per centimeter. So according to these two parameters, we will determine the hazard which can be caused by that irrigation water to the plants. Okay, so when the dissolved salt content is 500 ppm, below 500 ppm, and the EZ is less than 750 microsiemens per centimeter, we can say that there are no hazards for plants or soil due to that water. Okay, that water is good for irrigation, we can say. Accordingly, when it is between 500 and 1000 ppm, and when the EZ is between 750 and 1500 microsiemens per centimeter, we can say that there are some hazards. And when the dissolved salt concentration is 2000 to 5000 ppm and the electrical conductivity is 3000 to 7500 microsiemens per centimeter, then we can say that that water cannot be used for plants. It can cause severe hazards for the plants. So these are the categories of hazards which can be caused due to the salinity. So it can be termed as salinity hazard of irrigation water. This table is taken from Follett and Sultan for 2002, and Bowder et al. 2011 has also represented this table. So this is the first parameter by which the irrigation water is classified by USSL. The second parameter is sodium hazard. Sodium hazard is normally expressed by sodium adsorption ratio. When the value of sodium adsorption ratio, actually when the concentration of sodium becomes excessive, the soil is said to be sodic, and it can badly affect the soil as well as the plant. So when the sodium adsorption ratio value is greater than 10 millimoles per liter raised to 1 by 2, then we can say that the water will be the only source of irrigation for long. If the water will be the only source of irrigation for long periods, we have to avoid that. Okay, so we have to avoid the water if the SAR value is greater than 10 millimoles per liter raised to 1 by 2. So this is a unit of SAR. So when it is greater than 10, we have to avoid the use of that kind of water for a long period of time. And when the electrical conductivity is less than 2000 microsiemens per centimeter, it causes the degradation of soil structure, promotes soil crusting, and reduces water penetration. So this is regardless of the sodium content. And if the soil contains, once if the soil contains some amount of gypsum, gypsum is an amendment. So when some amount of gypsum is present in the soil, then the SAR value can be above 10 millimoles per liter raised to 0.5. So this is a category. So that was the second parameter by which the irrigation water was classified. And the third parameter which can cause hazard to the irrigation plants and soil due to the irrigation water is residual sodium carbonate. So residual sodium carbonate, um, when water has higher amount of carbonate and bicarbonate, it will have a tendency to precipitate calcium carbonate and magnesium carbonate. So this uh, precipitation of calcium and magnesium may be hazardous for the plants or the soil. So when the SAR value increases, the relative proportion of sodium ions will become greater, which in turn will increase the sodium hazard of the soil water. So this when the sodium is higher, it can cause sodium hazard. So the residual sodium carbonate content, when it is increased, also can cause sodium hazard. Okay. So this is a category of water, the suitability of water for irrigation based on the RSC, the residual sodium carbonates, which is expressed in milliequivalent per liter. So it is the unit of RSC. When the RSC value is less than 1.25 milliequivalents per liter, we can say that the water is safe for irrigation. When it is between 1.25 to 2.5, we can say that it is marginal for irrigation. That is, with some amendments we can use that water for irrigation. And when it is greater than 2.5, we can say that that water is unsuitable for irrigation. And the fourth parameter is specific ion effects, which can cause toxicity to plants or soil. So this was a fourth parameter. Some elements or ions can cause toxicity to plants. For example, sodium, boron, chloride, etc. So all these elements can cause toxicity when in excess amount. So sodium occurs in the form of leaf burn. Excess amount of sodium can cause leaf burn, leaf scorch and dead tissues running along the outside edges of leaf. So by all these symptoms we can say that the sodium is higher in water, irrigation water. So when the exchangeable sodium percentage is less than 15 percentage, we can say that it is sensitive to plants. When the exchangeable sodium percentage is 15 to 40, we can say that it is semi-tolerant. Some plants can tolerate it, and ESP greater than 40 is suitable for tolerant plants. So ESP should be always less than 15 for all types of plants. Normally for sensitive plants the ESP should be less than 15. That is the thing. And in tree crops, a sodium concentration in excess of 0.25 to 0.5 percentage in the leaf tissue is often considered to be toxic level of sodium. Now regarding boron, here there is a table which shows the concentration of boron and its effects on crop. When the boron concentration in water is less than 0.5 ppm, we can say that it is suitable for all types of crop. That water is suitable for all types of crop. When it is between 0.5 to 1, we can say that most crops can tolerate that limit. When it is between 1 to 2 ppm, we can say that it is satisfactory for semi-tolerant crops. Some crops which can tolerate this are there. So that water is suitable for only that kind of crops. When it is between 2 and 4, we can say that it is only satisfactory for tolerant crops. Higher boron tolerant crops can only survive in such kind of waters. So to avoid toxicity, it should be less than 0.3 ppm. We can say that this boron is actually required for plants. So at least a 0.02 ppm of boron is necessary for plants. It can be a limit, that amount of boron can be given through irrigation water. But when it is greater than 0.3 ppm, it can cause toxicity. Another important ion which can cause toxicity is chloride. So here there is a table which shows the chloride concentration and its effects on crops. The chloride concentration can be expressed both in milliequivalents per liter and ppm as well. So when written in milliequivalents per liter, we can say that less than 2 milliequivalents per liter, which is equal to less than 70 ppm, is generally safe for all the plants. When it is greater than 10 milliequivalents per liter or greater than 350 ppm, it can cause severe problems. This table is taken from Border et al. 2011. Ludwig et al. 1990 has first represented this table in his article. So this is about chloride toxicity. Now According to all these parameters, so we have discussed four parameters: sodium hazard, salinity hazard, toxicity of ions, and residual sodium carbonate. So based on all these parameters, the USSL, United States Salinity Laboratory, has classified the irrigation water into 16 classes. So here you can see there are 16 classes: C1S4, C2S4, C3S4, C4S4, C1S3, C2S3, C3S3, C4S3, C1S2, C2S2, C3S2, C4S2, and C1S1, C2S1, C3S1, and C4S1. So 16 classes of water are there according to USSL. So actually this classification is based on two parameters. All the four factors are considered, but still this classification is based on two parameters. One is the sodium adsorption ratio, which can also be called as sodium hazard, and another one is electrical conductivity, which can be termed as salinity hazard. So according to these two parameters, the USSL has classified the water into 16 categories. So we can see each of them. First one, we will see what is this S and C represents. Here you can see that the water is classified based on two parameters, C and S. So two terms, C and S. So we'll see what is the C and S. So C represents the salinity classes. C, all the C's represents the salinity classes of irrigation water. So in the first table shows the salinity class of irrigation water. It is expressed in EZ, in microsiemens per centimeter. When the EZ is between 100 to 250 microsiemens per centimeter, we can say that the water comes under salinity class 1, which is C1, and it has lower salinity hazard. Okay. And when the electrical conductivity is between 250 to 750 microsiemens per centimeter, we can say that the water comes under C2 category, that is salinity class 2, and it can cause medium hazard only. And when it is between 750 to 2250 microsiemens per centimeter, we can say that the water comes under C3 category, that is salinity class 3, which can cause high hazard. And when it is greater than 2250 microsiemens per centimeter, we can say that the water comes under C4 class, which is salinity class 4, and it can cause a very high hazard. And the second table shows the sodicity class or S class. S is represented by sodicity. So based on sodicity, there are again four categories. Sodicity is actually represented in SAR, sodium adsorption ratio, which is represented by millimoles per liter raised to 0.5. It is a unit. And when the SAR value is less than 10 millimoles per liter raised to 0.5, we can say that the water comes under sodicity class 1 or S1, which can cause low sodicity hazard. And when it is between 10 to 18, we can say that it is S2 class and can cause medium hazard. 18 to 26 is S3 class, which can cause high hazard to water or crops. And when it is greater than 26, it is S4 class and it is very high hazard causing water. So when it is C4S4, it is a very high hazard causing water, we can see. So according to these two tables or these two salinity class and sodicity classes, there are 16 combinations of water: C1S1, C1S2, C1S3, C1S4. C2S1, C2S2, C2S3, C2. So like that 16 classes or combinations of water are there, out of which C4S4 is the most vulnerable type of water which cannot be used for any plants because it can cause both salinity hazard as well as sodium hazard. So we will see the different classes. First we will see the conductivity classes. There are four conductivity classes. First one is class 1 or C1 salinity class. It can be used for irrigation of most crops because it is having only low hazard. You can read another things. According to the C2 hazard, the plants with moderate salt tolerance can be grown in C2 class of water. In C3, it cannot be used on soils which possess restricted drainage and thus poor leaching abilities. We cannot use the C3 class of water in soils having restricted drainage and poor leaching abilities. And for C4 class, we can only, it can be used for very salt tolerant crops. C4 is very high damage causing water. So it is a salinity class 4 which can cause high damage. So it can be used only for crops having very high salt tolerance. And after this we can move on to the sodicity class. The sodicity class again it is 4, S1, S2 and S3 and S4. So S1 sodicity class can be used for irrigation on almost all soils with little danger of the soil developing harmful levels of exchangeable sodium. So we can use almost this type of water for almost all soils. And regarding the S2 class, it can be used in coast textured or organic soils with good permeability. This type of water is used in such kind of soils which is coast textured and having high amount of organic content. S3 class is used, it can produce harmful levels of exchangeable sodium in most soils, and when the soil has gypsum content we can use this. When the soil has some amount of gypsum, then we can use this S3 type of water. And regarding S4, it is unsatisfactory for irrigation purposes except at low and perhaps medium salinity. When the salinity is very low or it has a medium salinity, then we can use this kind of water, S4 type of water. So according to these two, salinity class and sodium class, there are 16 combinations of water which is classified by USSL. Now we will move on to the second classification, that is by AICRP, which is All India Coordinated Research Project. They have classified the irrigation water into 7 categories only, A, B, C, D, E, F and G classes. So the A class is very good quality water. So they have categorized the water according to 3 parameters. One is EC, electrical conductivity, which is expressed in deci-Siemens per meter. Second thing is SAR, which is sodium adsorption ratio, which is expressed in millimoles per liter raised to 0.5. And RSC, the residual sodium carbonate, which is expressed in milliequivalents per liter. So according to these 3 parameters, they have classified the water into 7 classes. So the good water contains less that is less than 2 deci-Siemens per meter of electrical conductivity, less than 10 millimoles per liter raised to 0.5 of sodium adsorption ratio, and less than 2.5 RSA. So and very marginally saline has 2 to 4 EZ, less than 10 SAR, less than 2.5 RSC. Saline water has greater than 4 EZ. EZ is representing the salinity, so it is greater than 4 EZ and less than 10 SAR, less than 2 residual sodium carbonate. High SAR saline soil, both SAR and saline value will be higher. So it has a greater EC, greater than 4 EC, greater than 10 SAR and less than 2.5 RSC. Marginally alkali soil contains less than 4 EZ, less than 10 SAR and 2.5 to 4 RSC. Alkali soil contains higher amount of alkali or sodium. So we can say that it contains greater than 4 residual sodium carbonate, and all the other things are lesser. Highly alkaline soil has very high amount of sodium, that is SAR is also higher, RSC is also higher, and EZ is variable. So these are the 7 classes by All India Coordinated Research Projects, 7 classes of irrigation water. Now we will move on to the next topic, that is the water quality guidelines for irrigation. Normally for irrigation, how should be the water? The water for irrigation should be like this. So the salinity of the water, actually it affects when the salinity of water is higher, it affects the crop water availability, because when salinity is higher, it will affect the osmotic potential. It will increase the osmotic potential, and the availability of water to the plants will be less in that case. So the salinity of the irrigation water is normally expressed by 2 parameters. One is EC, of course you know EC, and the other thing is TDS, total dissolved solids. EC is expressed in deci-Siemens per meter and TDS is expressed in milligram per liter. So this can be expressed as microsiemen also. EC should be less than, if EC is less than 0.7, we can say that water has no restriction for use. We can use the water as such. When it is between 0.7 and 3, we can say we have to do slight moderations. We can add some amendments or like that. So after that we can use. When it is greater than 3, it has severe restriction on use. We cannot use that water directly for plants. And when the TDS is greater than 2000 also, we cannot use. And the second thing is EC and SAR, that is the sodicity. It will affect the infiltration. When the sodium content is higher, it will affect the infiltration capacity of the soil or infiltration rate of water into the soil. So infiltration is actually necessary because infiltrated water, the plant can absorb only the infiltrated water. Okay, so it cannot absorb water from the surface of the soil. It can absorb only the infiltrated water. So infiltration is a very necessary parameter before irrigation. So after irrigation. So when SARs and EZ are higher, infiltration will be very much lesser. So according to that two parameters, we can say that when SAR is below 0.3, EC should be greater than 7, 0.7. Then only that water can be directly used. When it is between 3 to 6, EC should be greater than 1.2. Then only we can use that kind of water. And EC is expressed in decisiemens per meter. SAR is uh, uh, unitless quantity. So these are the combinations of SAR and ECW we have to use for irrigation water. And other specific ions that can affect, that can be sensitive to crops when when some specific ions like sodium chloride, boron, etc are there, it can cause toxicity to the crops. So for different kinds of irrigation methods, different values of these things are given. Sodium, it is given as SAR, sodium adsorption ratio, in milliequivalents per liter. So for surface irrigation it should be less than 3, and for sprinkler irrigation it should be less than 3. When it is greater than 9, it cannot be used for that, water cannot be used for irrigation. Chloride content, again it is expressed as milliequivalent per liter. When it is less than 4, we can use that water for surface irrigation. When it is less than 3 milliequivalents per liter, we can use that water for sprinkler irrigation. When it is greater than 10, we cannot use that water for irrigation, any kind of irrigation. Regarding boron, it is expressed in milligram per liter. When it is less than 0.7, we can use that water directly for irrigation. When it is greater than 3, we cannot use such kind of water for irrigation. And another other miscellaneous ions which can cause some problems to crops are nitrogen, bicarbonate, etc. And nitrogen, when it is less than 5, we can use that for irrigation. When it is greater than 30, we cannot use. Bicarbonate, when bicarbonate actually it can be, when it is present, it can be used only in overhead sprinklers. So that kind of water. When that water is less than 1.5, we can directly use this in overhead sprinkling purpose. When it is greater than 8.5, we cannot use such kind of water. Actually, the bicarbonate content should be lesser, very much lesser, should be nil. When there are some amount of bicarbonate, we can use such kind of water only for overhead sprinklers. And the pH content should be within 6.5 to 8.4 for irrigation water. So these are the water quality guidelines for irrigation. These tables are adapted from University of California Committee of Consultants, which is given in 1974. So these are the different quality guidelines for irrigation water. Thank you. This is about today's lecture.